Welcome back live right here on Midco Sports Network. Last Friday, we brought you the South Dakota Spring Exhibition, and all eyes were on the new QB. Austin Simmons had some big shoes to fill coming into the spring with the graduation of All-American Chris Strevler, but I think Coyote fans felt good about their new signal caller after Friday's showing. Bob Nielsen just earned himself a contract extension through the 2020-2021 school year for good reason, but early on we said all eyes were on Simmons. He showed out. Goes along to Randy Baker, who comes down with it. He's brought down at the 1 yard line. And there'll be no gain on the ensuing 1st and goal, but 2nd and goal now. Handoff to running back Ben Klett, punches it in from 1 yard out, offense on the board. But this was by far the play of the game. Austin Simmons airing it out. Dakari Allen, look at that catch. Is that Odell Beckham Jr.? So here's another look at it. Phenomenal one-handed grab. Ended up as the #1 play on SportsCenter's top 10 for the night. That was incredible. Moving to the 2nd quarter, finishing that same drive, Simmons goes over the middle to tight end Connor Herman. That is good for 6, and the offense chipping away down 27-16. Fast forward, end of the 2nd. Ben Klett gets the handoff, finds a seam, takes it outside, just gets across the pylon. 21-yard touchdown for the sophomore. Offense down by just 4. First play of the 3rd quarter, check this out. Simmons, a bomb all the way to Levi Falk, who is wide open. He's down at the 6. 69-yard play to open quarter number 3, but credit the defense. They held him to a field goal right there. Midway through the 3rd, Brevin Kaiser, the QB Pier native, goes over the middle to Randy Baker, finds pay dirt for 6, 37 yards, and that is the go-ahead touchdown. Final score ends up being 33-27. The offense pulled off the win. Again, they started, so they gave the defense 27 points right away. They did traditional scoring, so it was basically the role of the offense to chip away. Anyways, I'm joined by Jay Elson. Jay, we were both at the game, and yes, as I mentioned earlier, all eyes on Austin Simmons. I mean, those are big shoes to fill with Chris Strevler being done, but he showed out. He looked great. Of course, people will knock on spring football in the sense that, the quarterback can't get tackled. Regardless, he looked good, but what are people inside the program saying about Simmons?
Well, we do have to preface all this by saying it is only the spring game, but at the same time, certainly Simmons had a great night. Yep. Offensive coordinator Ted Schlafke labeled his performance as, quote, efficient, said he really liked his patience and the fact that he didn't force things. And with that said, though, he did showcase that big-time arm that we all know he has, finishing with 4 completions that covered at least 38 yards. He had a perfectly placed touchdown pass we saw just a few moments ago to Connor Herman. All in all, I'm not sure you could ask a whole lot more of number 3, especially in the month of April.
Yeah, and I mean his job, and I don't want to take any credit away from him, but they have a great group of receivers. But that was, you look at USD coming off of last year, you lose Brant Van Rukel, you lose Riley Donovan, Alonjay Brooks, some of these top targets for Strevler a year ago. But it seems like they just reloaded because that receiving group was perhaps the most impressive on Friday.
Yeah, Simmons turned in the top individual performance of the night, but the wideouts were far and away the most impressive group in this year's spring game. Dakari Allen, of course, stole the show with that ridiculous one-handed catch. But to be honest, that was just one of his team-high 6 catches on the night. He had a great night overall. Randy Baker caught 4 passes for 108 yards and what proved to be the quote-unquote game-winning score. Levi Falk added 4 catches for 83. That's just the guys that we had heard from before, like last season. Reggie Crawford, the redshirt freshman out of St. Louis, he looks like the real deal, Kelly. He had a big night as well. Overall, you saw a great mix of size, speed, and athleticism from a group that is only going to get deeper come this fall. And I'll promise you this, they are going to cause a lot of headaches for opposing defenses, much like they did for their own this past Friday.
Well, you talk about, the veterans stepping up, guys that we've heard before, but then people like Reggie Crawford, it's like he's a new kid on the scene, but another new kid on the block that got to really make his debut in spring ball. This is a name that Coyote fans need to mark down, and they need to be paying attention to him. Who is it?
Absolutely. Sophomore running back Brandon Thull. He's out of Kewaskum, Wisconsin. That's a fun name to say. This is a guy who put up gaudy numbers in high school, Kelly. I'm talking to the tune of running for nearly 4,300 yards and 66 touchdowns in his last 2 seasons of high school ball. But he's had a quiet start to his career at USD. Redshirted in 2016, wasn't able to get into a game last season. I do not think that is going to be the case next fall. I'd heard Thull's name mentioned among those that had especially strong springs, and I thought he showed why on Friday. It wasn't necessarily his numbers. He had 6 carries for 32 yards. It was more about the way he went about all of it. He showed a great burst, good vision, surprising power for a guy that's only listed at 5'10 and 195 pounds. So we're definitely going to have to keep an eye on number 41. If he stays healthy, Brandon Thull is really going to help this program moving forward.
All right, well, great stuff. Definitely makes us look forward to the fall with USD. Thank you.
It does.
All right.
Excited.
Well, coming up after the break, we're going to take a look at our final spring game coverage for the day. We'll check in with MSU Moorhead and see how the Dragons' final turf session went. Stay right here.